Hi, friends and artists, second graders. I'm so happy to see you. Mrs. Gordon here. So you just took a look at some art inspired by Sandra Silverzweig, and you looked at the space behind her fish that she had drawn. And the one we were just looking at, I think there was one fish. And you took a look and you saw what kind of lines she drew in the background and what they reminded you of. They remind me of seaweed. And there are not just one kind of lines, there are lots of kinds of lines. And as to whether they were floating or connected, they were all connected, or sometimes we call that anchored. That means that when we drew a line, it either connected to the edge of the paper or to another line that was drawn. So you need a marker or a black crayon and your art from last week. And we're going to be adding a large variety, that means lots of different kinds of lines behind our fish. So usually I don't just do one line, I'll do like 3 lines together or 4 lines. So I'm going to start adding some lines. And remember, my lines are going to be connected to either another fish or to the edge of the paper. So I might start by adding some wavy lines. And when I get to a fish, I'm going to stop. Not going to draw through my fish. And so this kind of looks like seaweed. These wavy vertical lines that I'm drawing here. And I think I want to do at least 2 or 3 of the same kinds of lines. So I drew some vertical wavy. And maybe here behind my fish, I want to make it look like he's moving fast. And so I could draw some horizontal straight lines to make it look like that fish is zooming through there. You can draw whatever kinds of lines you want, as long as you remember that you need to be connected to either another line or the edge of the paper. And you need, I think I'm going to add some more of these wavy lines in here, and that they need to be connected. We're going to try to have lines going in different directions. So we know that lines can go in different directions. Lines that go side to side we call horizontal. Lines that go up and down we call vertical. Let's add some lines that go high to low and low to high. We call that our disco diagonal line. So maybe over here, I'm going to draw some lines, some diagonal lines. And I think even here I'm going to make them a little different than my wavy lines over here by adding some diagonal zigzags in them. Maybe over here I want a dotted line. Might look like bubbles coming out of its mouth. And maybe even I'm going to partner that with a dashed line. So little lines of circles and dashes. I know if you guys were here with me right now, I would start asking for, what kind of line do you want me to draw? And somebody would say, castle. And I would say, do you want me to draw it vertical, horizontal, or diagonal? And then somebody would say whatever they say. But I think I'm going to draw some castle lines next, and I'm going to draw them horizontal because that's the way I find castle lines the easiest to draw. Over, up, over, down, over, up, over, down, over, up, over. And then I'm going to make some more of them. So it's got at least 2 buddies. And look how interesting it's becoming right now. My art is getting so interesting, friends. Okay, I think it's time for some diagonals. How about some diagonal zigzag lines. So I'm filling the space behind my fish with all different kinds of lines. And maybe I'll add some spirals in here. And if I connect my spirals, I make like a line of lines. And you can be drawing whatever kind of lines float your boat. Let's see, I wonder what people say. They'd say, I want to see some curved lines. Let's make those horizontal, Mrs. Gordon. Like a rainbow, friends. Curved like a rainbow. Curved like a smile. See, and maybe here I want some diagonal. I wonder what kind of diagonal lines I should have here. How about some diagonal curly lines? Loop, de-loop, 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 de-loop. Loop, de-loop, 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 de-loop. It even sounds like it's saying loop-de-loop. My marker does. And, maybe I want to do a bumpy line. Maybe some bump, 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 bump. Bump, 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 bump. Bump, 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 bump. And I could add a dotted line in there. I think up here I want some diagonal lines, and I think I'm just going to alternate straight and dash diagonal. Oh, it looks like a road. Okay, I've got 2 more spaces here I need to fill. Friends, what kind of lines should I draw? Maybe down here I'll do some diagonal curve like a smile lines. And I've got 1 more space. I think I want to do some diagonals over here too. And maybe I just want there to be, maybe just some diagonal straight lines, or maybe, yeah, straight diagonal lines. So friends and artists, if you haven't started already, you're going to start drawing lines behind your fish. Your lines need to be anchored or connected to either another line or the edge of the paper. You need to fill in all of the space behind the fish. You need to use a lot of different kinds of lines, a great variety of lines. And I can't wait to see what kind of lines you draw in your background. Have fun making art, friends. Happy art making.